Why won't my turnips grow? Got a field here. It was drilled, and then I've got a hedge line. Field the other side. This field was drilled same day as the other field. It's very, very patchy with the turnips. Very few turnips out here. Lots of volunteer barley because, you know, below average combine driver. So why haven't these turnips grown so well? Now the only difference between this field behind me and then this field, which is absolutely banging with turnips, cracking crop of turnips, we're going to have a better look at that now in a minute. The only difference is the poor crop was spring barley, and then that field behind, that was mostly winter barley, half winter barley, and then half of it was re-drilled in the spring because the winter barley was so bad. And the only thing I can think of that the only difference is the herbicides. This field here behind me will have had an application of herbicide in, I think it was the first week in May. This had a herbicide for broadleaf weeds, which would, at the time of take, should have taken out any broadleaf weeds out here. And turnips are a broadleaf plant, so I'm wondering if there's a residual herbicide burden because we had such a dry summer. Then when I planted the turnips and we eventually got some rain, the herbicide killed all the turnips. So this is actually this field was actually planted twice. Yeah, so I drilled it same day as the other field. Inside the camera, drilled the same day, and then nothing came, absolutely nothing. And then toward the end of September, I broadcast on another 4 kilos a hectare of turnip seed, and some of them have come now. You can see some turnips there in between the thicket of volunteer barley. So now this is, well, stood down in the middle of the really good turnip field, and it's, yeah, my knees aren't that far off the ground, but yeah, the leaves are well up above my knees. It's just absolutely brilliant take of turnips on here, really good. So this was predominantly, this was planted winter barley last, the whole field was, and then there's a join here. Can't quite see, there's a difference there somewhere. So the bottom side we kept as winter barley, the top side, and then down that side was into spring cropping. So that was a spring barley and pea mix that went to combine in, but didn't have, other than a pre-emergence herbicide, didn't have any other herbicide application. And this field is absolutely brilliant. One of the best crops of turnips we've had for a long, long time, for a variety of reasons. But yeah, the field just over the hill there, planted exactly the same day. Nowhere near as many turnips on there. So if we pull one of these turnips out, that's a massive bulb on that. Tremendous root. So that's, and a lot of leaf, clean leaf. That is an absolutely brilliant turnip. Yeah, and they're all like that round here. So these turnips will be grazed over winter by sheep. So they're not our sheep. They'll be sheep brought in, probably used that are due to lamb in March, April time. So they'll come in, graze it off patch for patch, and provide them with some feed over winter. Gives us cover for the winter. This field's going into sugar beet next year, planned to be. So it will give this field a bit of cover over winter. Capture carbon all through the winter, and then the sheep will come in and graze it, turn all of that forage, all that green leaf, all of the bulbs, all that carbon that's been captured, turn that into muck or into meat in the sheep, or into help the lambs grow, and then the soil will hopefully be in a lovely condition then to plant into sugar beet in the spring. Yeah, there's the odd bit of barley volunteer out here, but really there's not really a lot out here. It is just a lovely crop of turnips, and there's the odd bit of pea. Some peas come up through. But yeah, really happy with this field. Really happy. There's a footpath that runs down through here. This is a 10-hectare block. Brilliant crop of turnips on there. Pretty even across it. And then we've got a new hedge across here. And then this was a formerly spring barley field. The turnips were drilled on the same day, but you can just see the difference. There's massive gaps between any plants, and it's just mostly barley, quite a few weeds out here. But yeah, there might be some people going, oh, why haven't you sprayed the barley off it? Well, I want to have a bit of cover on the ground. Turnips aren't providing the cover. The barley is now. So this will be going into a spring crop. Haven't quite decided whether it will be straight barley again, or whether we plant in a pea and barley mix, which we'll take to combine, and then that's milled and goes into our dairy cows through the winter. But yeah, we've got quite a few mushrooms and bits and bobs out here. But you can just see all the space in between. If I pull a turnip out, it's a nice clean leaf on the tip, but the bulb is so much smaller. It just hasn't grown. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I think it's herbicides. The residual herbicide over that has been left because we didn't have any rain between applying it and then combining it and planting a new crop. We had very, very little rain, probably less than 10 mil over those 3-4 months. And then when it did rain and the turnips did germinate, the herbicide took them out. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. This is one of my favourite views of the farm. The farm's just down in below here. See the top of one of the newer sheds down there. Then you've got a view of a Ross on Y. Yeah, just be nice if it was a nice, good crop of turnips out here. But it's green, there's plenty of cover. It's protected the soil, and for the autumn and summer we've had, it's not looking too bad at all. A few people have said about it already in different stuff, but this year has been absolutely phenomenal for mushrooms. And we've got mushrooms growing absolutely everywhere on the farm. So this field is predominantly arable field. It was grass 4 or 5 years ago for a 2-year lay, but then it's been cultivated since then. And then we've got mushrooms growing here. Nice big one under there. Look at that. Lovely mushrooms. But they're all over the field. All over the field. Yeah. I'm guessing that's something to do with the really dry summer and quite pleasant autumn we've had so far. But we've had mushrooms growing all over the shop, and it's been great.